the big inspirational idea that we use to kind of capture what Kevin's trying to say, which is the title of the first chapter is You Are the Culture. The image that we use is what we call X. And one of the things I loved on that Zach was talking about is Sherpa. Sherpa is a model that we use all the time. And the idea is you won't even have to try to lead. You will lead well if you are as close to 100% healthy as you can be. And what's really cool about you being healthy as a leader is your health multiplies. That's what the X stands for, multiplies into the people around you just naturally. I don't have to like make these big efforts or write these grand speeches, or really just me being healthy will multiply into the people around me, to my staff, to my players. And so the whole point of You Are the Culture is how do we move you to 100X? So that's the big inspirational idea at the top. The idea is a cool one. I think it resonates with leaders, makes sense. It stresses the importance of things like self-awareness. So the question is, how do you actually do it? So we have used this idea called the leadership control panel. And the idea is if your leadership is a ship that you are flying, it could be a spaceship or I don't know, aircraft of some sort. You have a control panel in that ship, and it has dials that constantly need fine-tuning, right? Adjusting based on wind, based on temperature, based on how high you're flying, all of this stuff. And so we want to basically identify what are those 5 controls on your control panel of your leadership that you constantly need to be monitoring so that you're always as close to 100% healthy as possible. And so we've offered 5, but we would never say, hey, these are the only 5 or these have to be your 5. But the 5 that we use in the book are composure, drive, focus, consistency, and perspective. And we have a definition for each. We have one question for each. And what we ask coaches to do is basically to rate a snapshot right now of, on a scale of 1 to 20, where would you say you are with composure? And so, for example, composure is, are you emotionally steady and you're responding appropriately in the right moment? And that could be tactically. I think most coaches' heads immediately go to like, okay, at the end of this game, did I make the right decisions? Did I set more of my subbing patterns? But also like in this conversation after a practice, when this mistake happened in a drill, that also is in your composure. And so we have a definition for each one. We think these are some of the 5 most important dials that you can be in control of. So the inside baseball kind of work on how that impacts your leadership is we are constantly encouraging coaches to score themselves against some standard. It's never going to be the best model, but some score or some measure or some data is better than none. And so just a 1 to 20 scale, does it have to be 120? No, but the convenient thing is 5 things, 1 to 20 adds up to 100. So if the idea is 100X, gives us a measure of, okay, 1, where are we right now? Are we a leader that other people avoid because we're 0 to 40? Are we a leader that is subtracting because we're 40 to 60? Are we an additive leader? We're overall a positive influence, but we're not having the total influence we could because we're not at 80 to 100. And then what is my lowest score? What is something I can do in that area? Is it focus? Is it being focused on the right things that actually impact winning and performance? And am I able to spend enough of my time on that? So what do I need to change? And then out of that, you build what we call performance rhythms. And so we think that the way that you lead yourself first is by building in rhythms into your day, week, month, or year. And so we just ask coaches, hey, don't try to bite off more than you could chew. Don't turn this into a New Year's resolution where you're trying to do something in all of them. Pick the one that you scored the lowest and just pick, am I going to try to do something daily, weekly, monthly, or annually? And I'm going to pick the smallest possible thing I can do that will help me stay more focused, that will raise my focus.